Hello everyone, and welcome to today's episode of Showcase on Dark Souls 3. Chugging along and almost all done. Well, for all things in the base game, and we already completed the first DLC and we'll wait for the next DLC, but in the meantime we still have some chimes, and some weapons left over. Now for the next chime, it's the one I initially used in the game, but I kinda quickly switched. It was the Priest Chime. Initially it seems powerful, but as you get more faith I believe it gets weaker over time. But that's simply how it is. But no, that doesn't mean it's horrible, it just means it's not the best one. The description of this weapon reads, or this chime, Sacred chime for casting miracles of the gods, of a type of given to Lothric priests. To cast a miracle, the caster learns the tale of gods, says a prayer to be blessed by its revelations. The faith of discipline affects the strength of the miracle. It's kind of like the tutorial, but it's a weird take on it, it's a bit lore-induced. That's fine. The skill is the Gentle Prayer. Core HP for a period of time will be extremely slowly, works equipped in either hand. And you don't mention that it stops working if you don't equip it. Okay, as for visually, well, I'm not sure if all the chimes are in a competition who gets the most bells. Well, the Priest chime wins, because it has the most bells at 5 of them. 4 little tiny ones and a big one in the middle. I'm not sure if more bells is a good thing or a bad thing, but I don't know. It's weird. You got a lot of bells. It must be noisy as hell carrying that thing around. Like, really noisy, obnoxiously. Going on to the stats for the Priest Chime. Ignoring the physical, we go right straight to buff. So yes, my buff is 143, but it started out with 118. So yeah, it's a very poor scaling for the buff. It's good if you don't have much faith, but not so good if you do have faith. The trio bonus, we got an E for strength and a B for faith. As reflected in trio requirements, we have 3 strength needed and 10 faith needed. Then we have the Gentle Prayer at 13 FP and a weight of 5 or 0.5. So it's fairly typical. It's good for beginners, but not much more than that by how it looks on the surface. Moving on to the few animations, the basic attack is whatever you use for your whatever spell or miracle you have equipped, and the special is the Gentle Prayer. We cast it to be a light healing, roughly for a minute. Once we see it pretty much just pulsates around us. However, if we put it away, it is gone, so you must have the chime out. When upgrading this chime, you need Titanite shards. That means it's a good all 10 upgrades, and for every upgrade you get roughly 3 for the buff. Everything else is meh, but we can see the attribute bonus for faith goes to an A for what that's worth. Though I don't say it's worth a whole lot, since the scaling for the buff is not very strong. But it makes a little difference in the end. Because when you do get enough faith, this weapon kind of lags behind the rest. It's meant purely for the people who don't have a whole lot of faith. Probably around the 10-15 mark. And then we're at the final upgrade. It's stuck at 160 buff for me. Oh well. Okay, now I do have some rings to increase the damage of my spells. And I will show them later how they are without. Because without, I don't think I'll be doing a whole lot of damage. At 350, that isn't a whole lot. With the rings equipped. Now we can see this knight's very angry because I'm dressed like him. He does not like that. He thinks he's unique. Otherwise, he got fairly standard damage. It should probably not affect my Moonlight Blade, should remain the standard damage. Alright, we'll test that anyway. Let's see. Basic attack is 340. Put the Dark Moon Blade on. And my damage is now 382. Almost 400. Alright. But now we'll test it without the rings of power. So no buffs this time. There's point blank, which we can see had 2 hits in, but at the range we can see we lose a lot more. Around, yep, pretty much 70 damage. Screw that. Now against the Gargoyle is very resistant to lightning. And a lot of other faith moves. You could probably use the Dark Miracles to fight it, but it's not a very good choice otherwise. Better off just using whatever physical weapon you have, providing it's better than a dagger. But oh well. It is what it needs to be, does accomplish what it needs to do. I don't think it's a really good offensive chime, it's more of a support and healing chime. Not really offensive at all. But nonetheless, we'll fight against the Dark Knight now, where he has mild lightning resistance. Let's see, there it's 206 damage, and my ring buff is on right now. I do have that equipped. So that's 206 with the buff. Otherwise, this weapon, or just Chime, is fairly mediocre is what I'd call it. I won't call it horrible, but it certainly is mediocre. It has good, pretty much buff at the stats, but otherwise not really anything else. It's very weak otherwise. At this point I'm done trying to fight him with the Chime, and I'll just whack him to death with the mace. It's the reason why I brought it. Because I wasn't expecting to really kill everything with the Chime. But yes, support and healing. Pretty much the idea of a Chime in the first place. But oh well. Now we're going to test the healing effect, since I got nice and banged up there. We'll speed this up. So yes, 1 whole minute. We can see not a whole lot, but it's the same as every Chime so far. But they have the same amount of healing regardless. So you gain a decent amount, but not a whole lot. Pretty much equivalent to 1 Estus unupgraded. Moving on to the pros and cons of the Saint's Chime. On the pros, we got a high stat buff that starts right off. It also has low stat requirements on top of that, having only needed 10 faith. And that is it. On the cons, it has poor scaling. And that's pretty much the main idea, is poor scaling. So yeah, that's it for the pros and cons. Moving on to the score for the Saint's Chime. For the buff, I'll give it a 5 out of 10. Starts off strong, and ends weirdly weak. So 5 out of 10. Special, same as the rest of the Chimes, a 6 out of 10 for its healing. Bonus though, I'm going to give it 3 out of 10. You don't get a really much scaling out of this thing at all. But for the Misk, I'll give it 2 out of 10. It's a good one to start off with, but if you're taking Miracle seriously, you'll drop this really quickly. So yeah, in the end, I'm going to give the Saint's Chime 16 out of 40, which is bad, because it's just a beginner's Chime that's quickly outpaced by nearly every other Chime you put in front of it. So there you have it. The Saint's Chime isn't very strong at all. It's pretty mediocre, but we're not really surprised by this turnout. It is a beginner weapon after all, and when you go into faith builds, you aren't a beginner very long. So this is very quickly disposed of, and trade off for various other Chimes, which better ones are coming in the next few days. But that's been SHAREfactory for today. I'd like to thank you all for watching. I hope to see you guys next time. Take care out there.